why it's caused so many issues is because Tata's dad doesn't care about our budget, and he kind of looks at it as, I'm an American, I should have a bunch of money, and that's just not the way it is.
You know what though? There's always this narrative, isn't it, that Americans do on the show. Not all Americans, just some. But they always say, oh, because I'm American, they think that I've got this, this, and that. And it's kind of crazy because you see, even though there may be a stereotype that people do believe that the people from the UK and people from America, Canada, maybe a few other places as well, it is crazy people do assume that because you live there, you must have money. But here's the thing though. Why do people behave as if you can't just make that clear? I mean, look at it this way. Lauren, as soon as he got to where he's at with Faith, he literally said that I'm homeless. I don't live anywhere, And to be fair, he was basically making it clear that he definitely hasn't got much going for himself, right? So my thing is, and don't get me wrong, he obviously made it clear once he got there. Obviously, should have made it clear before he got there. But at the same time, the fact that he was sleeping in different people's places really should have given Faith the idea that this man didn't have any money. But anyway, point is this. Why is it so hard for some of these American cast members who have this thing in their head, right? The stereotype of thing that is true for people but that people do assume. Why don't they just walk into a situation and say to someone, hey, just so you know, this is my financial situation. I'm not balling the way you think I am, okay? And yeah, I really don't have much to my name. But here's the other thing though that's quite interesting. That is one approach where you can obviously make it clear to the person you're speaking to, and therefore they do know. But here's the thing though, and this is the thing that's kind of wild. He's made it clear to the parents, okay, that he is unable to work whilst he's there, and he's not going to be able to work in Indonesia until, okay, he's able to find a job, okay? And he's been stressing the whole time about how the banana chips aren't really going to sell, how the jewelry was going to be hard for him to sell purely because it's in a different, he has to obviously ship it to the States, all that kind of stuff, right? So this is the thing that I'm a bit confused by. You have made it clear multiple times that your financial situation isn't great. You even told them that you've got a car that you're having to still pay off for in the States, the one that you tried to sell or something like that. So why is he still running with this theory? I don't think the parents actually necessarily think that, to be fair. I think for the parents, they probably sitting there thinking, well, listen, you're going to pay for as much as you can, and anything that you can't pay for, we're going to do ourselves. Reason I say that is because, you see, when him and Meitalia went to the parents and spoke about the finances, the parents said, okay, we will pay off the things that you haven't paid off yet. So why is it not cross his mind that maybe the parents are going to chip in to the wedding? I'm just saying, things are not adding up. Like, James always stresses about money, so that everybody knows. And they went to the family about the money, and the family offered them the money. And then he stressed about how he didn't want the money because he doesn't want to take the money and he wants to make his own money from his own business. And that's why he doesn't do the banana chip business, even though he is still actually doing it till this day, as well as also the jewelry as well. Yeah, I know I had to rephrase it so many times, but I just had to make sure that I was clear what I was saying. But nonetheless, though, let's continue with this interesting madness.
It's stressful for me right now because I want the traditional wedding too, but we cannot afford everything that my parents want.
Do you want to talk about kids and about not having them?
What?
Kids.
Anak.
Anak? I'm sure if...
First and foremost, this guy does what he does best, right? Or at least tries to do best. He always tries to put her in the position where she's going to say for him. Then he was like, so did you want to tell them about the thing? She was like, nah. You're going to tell them. I'll just translate for you. And good on her. Huh? This guy. Really and truly. What is going on in this world? So many men are losing their credibility of being men these days, of being that leader. Okay, forget about all this alpha, sigma, beta, all that kind of stuff, okay? Let's just stick to the basics, okay? Before all those titles became a thing. End of the day, where a man was supposed to be able to lead and protect his woman, we are now seeing so many men expecting their women to lead and protect them. Now, respectfully, of course, there's going to be areas where women are going to be better at leading 100%. And that's okay. But when it comes to protecting, bruh, it's funny because if I was the dad, I'd be sitting there thinking, this man isn't exactly leading my daughter. He keeps telling her to basically say things for me. Obviously, that doesn't really know because the language barrier. But that's another thing that should be looking, thinking, I told you to learn the language and you didn't learn it. How serious are you about being with my girl? How serious are you about protecting her? I know in America you was looking after, but how serious are you? But you don't seem to be doing things that you say you're going to do all the time. I'm just saying, we are lacking so many masculine men, and we seem to be getting more masculine women, you know what I mean? Which is not a bad thing. But as a man, it's disgraceful to watch it all happen. To see men lose their power has been masculine, not to see women become superior. Do you see what I'm saying? I respect it, as long as the women are not bad people. Yeah.
I want to have kids.
Punya suami, punya istri kan nomor satu ditambahkan kan keturunan.
What if I don't want to?
Kita tidak punya sejarah. Di dunia harus ada punya sejarah.
You know, it's crazy. I was having this conversation literally yesterday with one of my guys, right? And we was talking about just marriage and kids and just talking about how, you know, nowadays, the reasons why people get married, and it just feels like people get married for the wrong reasons, people having children for the wrong reasons. And then he asked the question of, he was like, I wonder if people was ever really getting married for the right reasons in the past or having kids for the right reasons in the past. And it's crazy. I said to him, to be honest with you, like, bro, like, people back in the day used to have kids because of legacy, right? Like a woman's whole purpose was to have kids, and a man's whole purpose was to find a woman that could give him a son. If she couldn't give him a son, she was out of the window and he's on to the next woman, right? Give or take. Not all, of course. Obviously, it really depended on, you know, how important you was, of course, you know, obviously back in those times. And I sat there and I said to him, to be honest with you, man, I wouldn't be surprised if people back then were having kids for the wrong reasons and getting married for the wrong reasons as much as people are doing it in the current times. But let's be real. No matter how much time keeps moving, things don't really change. Everything stays the same. It's just that the time changes and the way the world looks may change in its exterior look, you know what I mean? In aesthetic look. But generally speaking, people, humans... I think the only thing that has maybe declined and changed the most is that now we are experiencing more, you know, men not wanting to lead anymore, you know, and more women wanting to step up. Obviously, back then it was like women wasn't allowed to. I'm talking about the ancient Viking times, you know what I mean? All the way from there till now. So the point I'm trying to make is that the father talks about a legacy, and this is the problem. You cannot expect your child and her partner to have a kid just because you want a legacy. Because what if the daughter really didn't want kids? Because I do generally believe there's been a lot of women in this world from time ago that probably didn't even want to have kids. But they said, listen, if I need to feel valued, I must marry a man and I must have a kid because that's the way it was. And the women that didn't want to do that, from all the TV shows that we have seen back in the past, they were then labeled as, well, yeah, the ones that you just sleep with and that's about it. Evolution of time, but hey, evolution really hasn't evolved that much, to be honest with you. The difference is we have houses now, we have cars, well, they had houses then, but you know, we've got electricity and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. But the fact is this, though, and this is the thing that's the funniest thing about legacy. Let's talk about legacy, right? Especially back then in those times where it was so important to have a man, to have a son so he can obviously continue your heir. The crazy thing about it is that legacy, what is it? It doesn't mean anything, because look at it this way. If I had a kid today with someone, right, okay, and we had a girl, then we had another kid, it was another girl, okay, am I then going to leave her to make sure I get a boy? Because and why would I leave to get a boy? Because usually the legacy in the name continues because it's usually the woman that takes the man's last name. So if you're not having any sons in your relationship, the legacy is already kaput anyway, unless your daughter, you know, forces the person that she marries to take her last name. You know what I mean? maybe your daughter will be a lesbian, you know, and therefore with her partner they can have that conversation, you know. It's the bad of, oh, but my dad wants me to keep the last name. No, but my dad wants me to legacy. I'll forget about all this legacy nonsense. That should not be a reason people should be having kids. You know, people should be having kids because they want to have kids and they're inspired to be the best parents possible, not because of a freaking legacy, because their daddy said so, their mummy said so. How dare you? Anyway, let's continue with this madness.
Menurut mama ya, orang rumah tangga nggak punya kayak anak kayaknya hampa.
You feel it's a selfish way of thinking?
Nah, menurut mama sama papa.
Nggak sekarang lah. Kalau udah mapan, itulah.
We're financially stable and we're able to take care of ourselves. I do think it might change the way I'm thinking.
First and foremost, James, we all know you're lying. It's not gonna wait. That's not gonna change the way you're thinking. If you're in a position where you feel like you don't want kids because of the way the world is changing, you're not gonna have kids. Okay, finances isn't gonna make a freaking difference. I mean, I know that myself. I used to say to myself at the time, maybe when my finances is good with my ex at the time, maybe then I'll have kids. And then I was like, nah, I really just don't want kids, to be fair. You know what I mean? But let's talk about this statement itself in particular. A marriage without kids is empty. A marriage without kids is empty. What? What? That is going to be the most dumbest thing I heard in my life. Not everybody needs to have kids to make their relationship feel whole. Some people in their relationship, they want to have kids because it's something that they both desire, and it's something that they want as a representation of them, because it's putting blood and blood together, you know? 100%. Some people, yes, their relationship, does desire a child, for the right reasons, and it does make their home feel complete, 100%. But that doesn't stand for everyone. Some people don't need to have kids to make their relationship feel whole, because it really depends on the people involved. Some people are just two free spirits who just love to explore the world, travel, and do all these things, and just want all the freedom in the world, don't want no responsibilities to the kids and da. They just want to be with themselves, with just their person, and just enjoy. They don't feel empty. That is crazy. This is or at least I know that I'll never get myself in a relationship with someone who's in Indonesia. You know what I mean? I can't be having that pressure on me. Are you mad? I enjoy my freedom. But anyway, we continue.
About it now.
Positive now, they're making it sound like they understand, but I think it's because in Japanese culture, as soon as we're outside of the household and we're in public, they don't want foreigners or outsiders to see any inner turmoil in a family.
So basically, from what I'm hearing here, you had a chance to tell them the truth that you're probably never going to want to have kids because you knew they wouldn't react in public, but you decided to just basically say, oh, maybe I'll change my mind. Dearie me. Now, to be fair, there is a little rumor that, she may be pregnant, but yeah, I don't think she is.
You keep that stuff at home. You don't share it with the world.
Bring a joy to their life.
I know that they don't agree with it. They think it's stupid and they expect me to have children, period.
Semuanya.
It's a terrifying feeling because for me, not wanting to have children, I can't see it changing.
I can't see it changing. So why didn't you tell the parents that? Be honest. Just tell them the truth. But we know James. James doesn't like to be always completely transparent. He loves to withhold information, because he just thinks it's the best way to go forward in life. I just don't know. I mean, listen, to be honest with you, I wish Brandon had the same mentality as James because, well, we all know Brandon and Mary should have never had a child. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that they've been terrible parents because obviously I don't really follow them like that to see what they're really doing, and nor do I actually live in their vicinity to know how good or bad they are parents, but we know that their relationship was never stable enough for them to even have a child. That is something that we can all agree on, you see what I'm saying? And it's a shame that we're in a situation here where we didn't see Brandon adopt the same, mentality as Jamesy by saying, nah, kids is not a good idea. But it's crazy because Brandon's an interesting dude. He flew over to Thailand or Philippines? Thailand? I always forget, but he flew there as a skinny man, and now he's been eating a lot of food. I wonder if that baby gets fed. The way that boy's bulked up. But hey, to be fair, Mary did say that she was going to feed him because she wanted him to be a bit bigger. And to be fair, she did that because she wants him to look less attractive. That's if he was attractive to begin with, but that's a matter of perspective, you know what I'm saying? But either way, though, it is good to see, though, at the same time that James doesn't want kids because, in their relationship, bringing kids into their life definitely would not be a good idea. Not at least now anyway, because one, they need to get their ducks in order in terms of the fact that they need to figure out how they're going to actually be able to survive financially there without having to rely on her parents, and obviously bring an idea of their own, because I do believe, even though they're still doing this whole banana chip business and the jewelry business, I don't know if that's really sustainable personally, and also at the same time, I don't know if they even do it on their own accord, because remember what Meitalia said as well, any money that they make from the family business also goes to the family as well. So the money that they're making currently right now from the banana chips, it's not even fully their money. It's money that's still being put into the family itself in particular. So that's something else they have to also look into it, which again goes back to what I was saying about the fact that, he's sitting there talking about how they think I've got money because I'm American. I don't think they think that, because if they thought that, then guess what? They wouldn't expect you to be working in the family business where you have to give them money. And they definitely wouldn't have expected you two to be living with them two when you first moved to Indonesia as well. They would have thought you'd have been out there, already living in your own place, looking after yourselves, blah, 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 blah. And most importantly, they wouldn't have been expecting their daughter to be out there looking for work. But she spoke about how she looked for work, but it's in the city, which is too far away. Unless, of course, he made that statement. Unless the way the show has been edited, they've mixed up the timelines, which I doubt very, very much. But either way, though, it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts on these two. Let me know on the situation itself in particular. And do you agree people should have kids purely for legacy purposes rather than have kids because they want to have kids? Do you agree people should have kids just because their parents tell them to have kids or because they want to have kids? Let me know. Because goddamn, we are living in a world where we're seeing so many people. We've been living in a world before we even existed where people have been having kids for the wrong reasons. But yet, people forget this as well, right? We live in a world right now where there are so many kids who are either fatherless or just parentless in general, right? Because people are just popping out kids and then just leaving them in places and whatnot, right? People forget that back in the day it was just as bad, you know? The amount of kids, the amount of people that were born and didn't even know who their parents were, you know? Oh, it was a madness. Times really haven't changed. It's just the way the world looks changed. Remember that. Well, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.